In this video, I'm going to be making Swedish meatballs and gravy served over egg noodles with a side of steamed vegetables and cranberry sauce. And the recipe for the meatballs and gravy is based on a recipe released by IKEA after they stopped selling them in their stores. Now, traditionally, Swedish meatballs, I guess, are served with lingonberry jam, which I haven't been able to find so far, but I have heard that cranberry sauce makes a good substitute.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when there's new videos. Comments welcome. Thank you. Here's a quick list of ingredients, or you can check out the description below.
So to get started, I'm going to start with the meatballs. And that consists of, I got a half a pound of ground pork, just regular ground pork, not sausage, plain pork, no seasoning. And then 1 pound of ground beef. And this is basically the ratio from the original IKEA recipe. Then we're going to have a diced onion, and you do want to dice this up fairly small. That depends on your preference, of course. But huge chunks of onions in the meatballs aren't great, but I like some nice chunks in there, so you can see them. Then the rest of it there, the breadcrumbs, garlic, seasoning, salt, pepper, an egg, and some milk. Then I'll just mix this up by hand. I want to make sure it's well mixed. And then I'm going to make the individual meatballs here, and I'm just using this cookie scoop. I think it's about 1 ounce, but I'm not positive. It's a fairly small scoop. And I just use a heaping coming out the top, and then that's about the right size for me. And I kind of like them kind of small, but you can make them, of course, whatever size you like. It doesn't make any difference, other than the cooking time, I suppose. Now, unfortunately, the cameraman failed to capture me actually making the meatballs. It's off the top. I apologize for that. But I think you can get the idea how to do it. And wetting your hands can help here. Help to stop the meat from sticking so bad. But it's not really too bad. It doesn't take too long. And it's a good idea to make these a little bit in advance if you can, so that they can sit a little bit. They'll hold together better when you're frying them. There we go. Huge plate of them there. All right, next up, I'm going to measure out the egg noodles. We're going to have use 8 ounces of extra wide egg noodles. You can use the smaller ones you like. I like the extra wide. They're not that big. They sound like they should be huge, but they're not. All right, we'll get some oil heating in the frying pan for the meatballs. Now here's the cranberry sauce. I'm just going to use some canned sauce, and this can is weird. It's like it's been put in the can upside down. The bottom there is actually the top, but it does say open the other end. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe the berries go to the bottom and they canned it the other way. I don't know. Okay. Pan's hot. Let's get the meatballs in. And I'm just going to stuff them all in there. It doesn't really matter if they have a lot of room or not. Obviously, they can't be stacked. But we're just going to cook them till they're brown on one side. Then turn them over. And I've got them on medium-high heat. And I don't think there's really much need to measure the temperature here. You can tell when they're done. It doesn't take that long. But you could measure it just to be sure. Now, one thing we want here is we want to get some fond on the bottom. We want to get some of the, we want the oil and stuff from the meatballs to flavor our gravy. We're going to make the gravy in the same pan. As you can see, lots of those onions fall out, so that is nice in the gravy as well. Nice side effect there of having all those onions in there. Now when they're done, we just pull them out and set them aside while we make the gravy. Okay, so now's a good time to start with cooking the pasta. So we'll just get some water on to boil and throw in some kosher salt. All right, now we're back. We start the gravy. Now I dumped out all of the oil. that was in there because we're using butter here. So put in our butter. And I'm leaving all that fond, even though it might look like it's kind of dark. You could remove it if you want, if you don't like that in your gravy. But I think it's going to be add some nice flavor. So I'm going to leave it in there. And I don't care if it's got some black specks in it. And then I go in with the flour. We're going to make our roux. Okay, so that was 3 tablespoons of butter and 5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We just mix that around and cook it a little bit. It's pretty good. So next, as usual, in making a gravy, we're going to come in with our liquid. This is beef broth. And I'm using a Swanson unsalted beef broth. Found this stuff lately and it works. It's really good. I don't normally make beef broth, just chicken. Now, if you don't have beef broth, you can also just use chicken. And that's usually what I use, but I'm using this stuff now. And then while this is heating up here and starting to thicken, we'll add in some of our seasonings here, our other stuff. So we're going to have soy sauce, Dijon mustard. This gravy uses soy sauce instead of, a lot of people would use Worcestershire sauce, but soy sauce works as well. And it's a good substitute if you don't have Worcestershire sauce. And then some more of the Better Than Bullion, beef bouillon, just a little more flavor there and a little more color. Since these are beef meatballs, it'd be nice if our gravy was brown. You see it is starting to thicken up pretty good there. And we got nice chunks of onions from the meatballs. I think you can see they don't look too bad in there, even though some of them are pretty dark. Okay, next thing is the cream, like 2/3 a cup of cream. This is heavy whipping cream. And as usual, when making a gravy with cream in it like this, you don't want to boil it after you put the cream in. So before you put the cream in, you could boil it and it wouldn't hurt it, as long as you don't burn it down. But you can see there it's nice and thick. Okay, water's ready for the pasta. We'll dump that in. And you just want to cook the pasta according to the directions on the package, or however you like it. Okay, so we're going to do just some simple steamed veggies. My usual California blend. And as usual, I'm just going to microwave that for about half the time, and then I'll season it up, and we'll do the other half. And give it a good taste here. We're going to do our final, or add some more seasoning here. Mostly just pepper, a little bit of salt. It already got some of the seasoning from the meatballs, so. And if you don't use unsalted broth, of course, you'll have it from that. You probably don't need any salt. Now I'm thinking it's a little bit thick, so I'm just going to use some water. You can add that if you're like me and you like it maybe just a little thinner in this case. I do like a thick gravy, but not too thick. Now the color of this gravy isn't too bad since we used beef broth and everything already. But if you want to get a little bit browner, you can use this, it's called Kitchen Bouquet. And that's basically all it is it's like food coloring for gravy. And it's just dark brown. Doesn't have much flavor. So just add some brownness. And it's especially useful if you use chicken broth, so that your gravy's not, yellowish. Okay, now the gravy's ready. We'll just add in our meatballs back in. And we just want to mix them up good and then heat them back up. And so our vegetables are half done now. So I'm just going to add in a couple tablespoons of butter and season it up with a generous amount of Mrs. Dash. Salt and pepper's good, but I'm on a low sodium kick now, so I'm doing the Mrs. Dash. Okay, let's check the pasta here. And it's good, so we'll take that off. And then I'll just drain it, and then I'm going to put it right back in the pan. Still hot. And then I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of butter. I like to season and then put in some parsley, make it look pretty. And I put the butter on so that it doesn't dry out while it's sitting there. Adds a little flavor too, a little creaminess. So the vegetables are done now. All we have to do is stir them up. Okay, so here's our mini buffet. Got our Swedish meatballs and gravy. Nice and creamy gravy. Our buttery egg noodles. Steamed veggies, just like the IKEA cafeteria. And we got our cranberry sauce on the side there. Now the cranberry sauce is to dip your meatballs in. It's not just a sauce that you eat. There's my plate, all ready to go.
If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos become available.